Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Swartz Talkin Sports. We're back. We missed last week's show, unfortunately. Tropical Storm Debbie got the best of us last week. I got to the studio, and Tony was like, I got some bad news, Les. We can't do the show. So we're back tonight. We've thrown a little bit of a curveball. Our guest tonight, Rey Robinson, was supposed to be here. I hope everything's okay with Rey, but unfortunately, he didn't sign in. So we're going to do the show on the fly without Rey. So we're going to bring in my first co-host tonight, so let's bring him on. Former Florida A&M Rattler quarterback, national championship, 1978 team, and the voice of the Rattlers football and basketball broadcast, our man in Jacksonville, Al Chester.
My man, what's going on, Les? Happy Hump Day, man, from Jacksonville, Florida.
Al, the coolest thing is...
Glad you guys survived the storm.
But Al, you too, but the greatest thing about this show today, we've got a great improvement. Tony was able to get a teleprompter, so now I actually can have a conversation with you and our co-hosts and our guests. It's fantastic. So I get to actually talk with you now and not look at a camera. So great job, Tony. Great job, Tony.
Good stuff, Tony.
Well, before we go to tonight's opening reel, we want to bring on someone who hasn't been with us in quite some time. Everyone's been asking for him. You ask, you got it. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Benny the Book, the King of Carolina.
Hey, Les. Hey, Al. How you doing, guys?
Benny the Book, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
Great to be back. Great to be back. We got a couple of weeks. We got college football starting and NFL right behind it, babe.
We got a lot going on in the next few weeks. We do, but
we had the excitement of the Olympics that just passed. So we've been pretty busy. Pretty busy in sports.
And that's the name of our show tonight, Going for the Goal. We were going to bring on Rey Robinson. Unfortunately, we'll get in touch with Rey. Al, I hope everything's okay with Rey because it's really not like him, you know. I hope everything's okay with him. So, but before we start talking about the Olympics, let's run tonight's opening reel. So, Tony, hit it. Well, first of all, guys, I have to say, they're running faster than I can drive my car. Okay? Wow.
Special.
I tell you what, that was a tremendous effort by the entire Olympic team. And I tell you what, people really got their money's worth. And I'm sure they had a great time over in Paris. But the United States Olympic team represented well.
Oh, yeah.
Well, before we get into the entire U.S. team, we're gonna highlight some other athletes, too, because there were some great performances in this Olympics. Really, just incredibly inspiring. The talent that these athletes showed out, I really wasn't into it, guys. Like, I just wasn't really psyched about it. But as it went on, I couldn't help myself watching it more and more in different sports that I'd never watched before. So, but before we get to that, anybody out there, please hit that subscribe button, like, comment, let us know how the show's doing. We love to hear voices. We like to hear from the viewers. So hit us up and let us know what's going on. But I know Tony did a thing. The USA blew away the competition. When you talk about total medal count, we kicked it. 126 medals. We almost more than doubled the third place, Japan, but we tied for the most goals with China, but we did finish with 126 over China with 91, and Japan finished third with 45. I think Australia was a distant fourth with 20-odd something. So, guys, a tremendous performance by Team USA across the board, and really highlighted by the track and field, guys. I mean, the track and field team, 34 medals, 14 goals. Unbelievable. Track and field.
Dominated. That's what you call domination.
Yeah. Let's highlight some great athletes, guys. I know we're going to go through this. We're going to talk about Team USA, but let's highlight some other great athletes. First, from the home country, France, Léon Marchand, a tremendous swimmer, 22-year-old, 4 goals, a silver and a bronze. he has a world record in the 400-meter individual medley. He wins the 200-meter butterfly, 200-meter breaststroke, 200-meter medley. I mean, just unbelievable by Leon Marchand. Then we had, and you said he's the gospel truth, Al. I mean, this kid's talented.
He stands about 6'5". He can swim like a fish, and he didn't just win the race. He dominated the race. He beat everybody by a whole bunch. And I tell you what, we're going to see more of him in the years to come, I promise.
Yeah, I think you're going to see him in 2028 in L.A. I know you've got Summer McIntosh, the 17-year-old Olympic swimmer, 3 golds and a silver, 17 years old. Al and Benny, you might see her in 2 more Olympic Games.
Oh, for sure.
Easy.
For sure, easy.
Yeah.
Swimmers, they're there for last Olympics, I think what was the U.S. swimmer? She was, I think, she was in her 40s.
Yeah, I know, it's incredible that they keep that kind of shape, and they can swim at that high of a level. It's incredible. I look at Ledecky; she's probably going to be back in 2028, and she set the record for the most gold medals of any female swimmer in history.
Yes.
Then we get someone you're familiar with, Al. I know we talked a lot about her coming in here, Sha'Carri Richardson, and we talked a little bit about before the show. Maybe you can talk to our viewers out there. She was the overall favorite, the hands-on favorite to win the 100 meters and become the fastest women athlete in the world. But she was actually overtaken by someone from St. Lucia, their first medal in track and field ever, and she wins the gold. I think her last name was Alfred, and she beat Richardson in a close race. I mean, but you said something about Richardson having to walk into the stadium or something. What was that about?
Well, I tell you what, Sha'Carri Richardson, obviously everybody remembers she made the Olympic team last time, but she tested positive, couldn't make the trip. She beat everybody the last 3 to 4 years. She makes the Olympic team. She gets in there. She comes in the heavy favorite. But in the finals, she apparently got to the gate where they let the athletes in a little late, and they wouldn't let her in. She had to walk completely around the stadium, which was a good little hall. Yeah. So by the time she got in the stadium, she didn't get a chance to warm up. Not making excuses for her, but these are the kind of this is the information that surfaced after the race. Yeah. But she ran against a young lady who could really run. But I tell you what, that was hard. It pulled at your heartstring because she had been humping, trying hard all these years just to get where she wanted to be. She was favored to win, but you got the best in the world right there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, she trained hard for 4 years. Like you said, she missed the last one with the drug test or something like that. And it was all or nothing, Al, because as we know, the 100 meters is the Cadillac event of the track and field. That designates you as being either the world's fastest man or world's fastest women. So now Noah Lyles did do it in the first one. Oh, Benny, you said he wasn't the overall favorite in the 100. It was the 2, but he pulls off the 100. And I would say, we talked about it earlier before we got on the show, maybe the greatest 100-meter race in Olympic history.
I totally agree with that. I tell you, in our lifetime for sure. I tell you what, when they lined up for the finals, I was telling everybody in my house, everybody that's running this final race could win this race. Mm-hmm. Right. It was the closest race I've seen in my lifetime. Mm-hmm. I mean, normally you got Carl Lewis and they stretch out. You got Bob Hayes, who did it a long time ago. And of course, a man from Jamaica who was just killing everybody. But this race was the closest race, and by a nose hair, Noah Lyles was able to pull it out.
He wins the 100, and then he goes for the double, which is the huge thing. If he could have pulled off the 200, he was the overwhelming favorite in the 200, but finished the disappointed third, got the bronze. He didn't get a great start in that race, came on at the end, but then we find out, right after the race, he collapses, and he needs to be, taken off.
He had the mask on in the background, and my wife was wondering. She says, "Why has he got a mask on? Nobody else has masks on." And he was. They said he tested positive the day before.
Yeah. 2 days earlier, tested positive for COVID.
And you got to give him credit. He ran.
He did.
He got a medal. Got a medal.
But I'm surprised, Al, that they actually let him run, knowing that he did test positive for COVID. Were you shocked at that when that news came out that they actually let him run?
Yeah, I was actually surprised too, because if they knew he had tested positive, why would you let him run? Because he bailed out of the 4x1, and I'm wondering if the Olympic Committee bailed him out or he bailed out on his own. Mm-hmm. We'll never know probably. But one of the things about his race that I watched, he has a probably one of the worst starts for a sprinter, and he's always got to catch up, you know. And Sha'Carri Richardson, the same thing. She has a horrible start. You would think that coaches would identify that and work on those kind of skills going into the biggest race of their lifetime. And you got some of these guys, it's tough to run these guys down. Had that race been 110 yards, you know, I think it'd have been a different story for Sha'Carri for sure.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed in a way that Rey wasn't able to be on the show today, because we certainly wanted to talk to Rey about that aspect of that race. I mean, the starting. I mean, do they really work on that? How much do they practice that? And is there any way that you can improve, because they are notoriously slow starters out of the blocks, and that really bit them, you know, coming down the stretch, and they didn't win. I would say though the star of this Olympics on the track and field, and man, she is incredible, and that's Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. What she did.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
You know, it was really between her. They were saying her and Femke Bol of the Netherlands. That was going to be the 1-2. It was going to be the battle for the gold, and Bol had done an incredible job, I think, was it the 4x100 when they beat?
Yes.
I mean, she was.
It was the mixed 4x1,
and she was behind.
Mixed 4x4. Mixed 4x4. That's
by
what it was.
20 meters. And she just caught them with that high leg kick. She's incredible. But McLaughlin-Levrone just ran another world record. And an American finished second in that race. Bol finished third for the bronze. So the Americans went gold, silver in that race. But I'll tell you, to me, she came away as, if you're going to have the face of the Olympics, like you remember Sugar Ray Leonard was the face of the Olympics in 76, I think she's going to end up being the face of this Olympics. You're going to see her on every advertisement and every billboard. I'm telling you. She's got it. She's got that it factor, guys. She just does.
And you know, she's an humble athlete too, and she talks about how she's been blessed and that she gives God all the glory. But I tell you what a tremendous athlete she is, and the anchor that 4x4, and she didn't anchor. She actually ran second, and she opened the lead up. Yeah, and when she handed the baton off to Gabby Thomas, they had about a 50-yard lead. Oh, yeah. And Gabby just added to that and maintained it. And then the last young lady who ran, I hadn't heard much about her, but I tell you what, she could scoot around that track as well, man. Oh. They were the real deal, no doubt.
That was not close. That race, USA absolutely blew doors at everyone in that one.
Doors off everybody.
And I would say probably the biggest surprise in track and field, and it was somebody that no one was talking about prior to the Olympic Games, the 1,500 meters. The U.S. had never medaled in the 1,500 since the inception of the Olympics. It was really it was a two-man race. Josh Kerr out of Great Britain and this gentleman named Jakob Ingebrigtsen out of Norway. They were 1 and 2 in the world. They had this big brouhaha back and forth. They were bad talking each other. There was a lot of bad blood there. Cole Hawker from the United States comes out of nowhere down the stretch, catches them and beats them, and wins the USA's first gold medal in the 1,500. So it's just an incredible. I had never heard of Cole Hawker. There wasn't a lot of hype on him at all. No, and he wins the 1,500.
That's the sweetness of the Olympics, though. You know, it brings out the best in all the athletes, and to have all of them assemble at one time to compete against each other. That's a tremendous entertainment for folks who were there, and obviously for the folks around the world who watched.
You also, Quincy Hall ran a fantastic race. He was outstanding in the Olympics, winning a gold medal. And I know, Al, there's a couple more out there. I think somebody won the hurdles, I believe. You know him, but
Rye Benjamin
ran
the 400 hurdles, and I tell you what, he anchored the 4x4. I mean, he's a tremendous athlete, of course, and did a great job. Grant Holloway ran the hurdles. The 110-meter high hurdles.
Another gold medal.
Another gold medal, absolutely. And, of course, the big guy, Ryan Krauser, the shot put guy, I mean, he stands 6'7", 6'8". He's three-time Olympic champion. And he, you know what? They showed Peyton Manning talking to him or interviewing him, and he modified his step just a little bit and was able to make that push a little further, and he just makes one throw, man, and then he said, y'all gotta go get that, chase that throw right there, and then he'll wait till the finals. And then I don't even think he threw him the final opportunity he had because he had already won.
Yeah, I was going to say, but 3 straight Olympic Games, and and the one disappointment I would say that I think the U.S. had in track and field was the the men's, the 4x100. I mean, I thought we were locked to win that thing. We had the best sprinters, but like you said, elementary to just do the handoffs with the baton, Al, and they messed it up again.
Hey, you know, when Noah Lyles went down, he was the only person doing the preliminary runs that was out because he had the COVID virus. And so you replace Noah. You don't change the entire team. Then change the entire team. And that handoff from the first guy to the second guy was one of those blunders that you see in junior high school. It was very disappointing because, like you said, we were favored with all the top sprinters that we had. And it's been several years since we've won that thing, surprisingly, because of foul-ups with that baton. And you would think that they would make that a mandate in terms of training and making sure that they hand that baton off. I wish Ray was here because I wanted to talk to him about that. But when that happened, I sent Ray and Chandra both a text, and I said, hey, you guys need to train our guys on that, passing that baton, man, because that's crucial.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was like, and that really, that killed it. Now, I saw a couple of crazy baton, the Chinese, 2 women, they had to go back in 20 yards, then they dropped it again, then they had to go back again. I'm like, you guys are training for this thing. It's incredible. I mean,
see, Les, you have a zone that you have to pass that baton off. If you pass that zone, you're gonna get disqualified.
And that's what happened, right? Yeah.
So you got a zone that you get to hand that baton off. But it's incredible how you can get to the great event, that great contest, and blow it like that. Disappointing.
Now, do we have Tony? I know that Joni's unfortunately not with us tonight, but do we have any questions out there? We have one question, so let's throw a question out there, and I'll read that, and you guys can answer this thing. How about that performance by Steph Curry in the game versus France? How about that performance against Serbia?
Now, the last two games, 60 points. He missed the U.S. record by Carmelo, 37. He scored 36, and then he comes back. That was sensational. That fourth quarter that he had. I mean, the guy's unbelievable.
But you know something, guys? He didn't even win the MVP. I know they gave it to James,
no, they gave it
should have gone to Curry. Should have gone to Curry.
Well, he actually did nothing, they said, the first few games, and then the last 2 games. LeBron was a big catalyst. He was a big catalyst. He was the glue for everything.
Well,
I tell you what. I think Kevin Durant was a catalyst as well. I think early on, his shooting, he is a scoring machine. LeBron is the foundation, if you will. He's going to be the consistent guy. And then you're going to need that shooting from Curry and then you got all these young guys. But what I was disappointed in is our guys, the physicality of the game. They allowed the European style basketball. They got beat up, pushed around. Yeah. They were complaining about fouls. And, that court is a little shorter in terms of the width. And but the referees let them play a little rough and tough. And it reminded me of street ball. And I kept saying, go back to the street, guys, and play like you played growing up. But I had to think about it. LeBron's 40. You got Curry's 35, Durant 35, 37. They're old guys.
Yeah.
Old guys.
But I tell you what, great basketball playing though. But France had some competition, and obviously Serbia was right there. But there were 64 guys from the National Basketball Association playing in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So nobody was afraid. Nobody was intimidated by LeBron and those guys. No, I saw Katie a couple of times, Benny saying, "Hey, do you know who I am?"
Well, here's the thing, guys. Everyone talks, because every time the USA comes to the Olympics and they have a roster full of NBA players, they call it the Dream Team. No, this is not the Dream Team. It's Team USA. There was one Dream Team, that was 1992. And the difference is, to your point, Al, 64 players on NBA rosters. Back in 92, that wasn't the case. When the Dream Team in 92 went to play, the opposition wanted pictures and wanted autographs with these guys.
Yeah, I think they had I think back in the 80s or whatever the year was, there was only like 9 other NBA players other than the USA. And like you said, there was 64. I think 49 on other countries. I mean, Canada, they said they had like 11 NBA players on that team.
And they got
That's
upset.
right,
I
right.
think that was an upset because
Yeah.
Canada
Yeah,
had
that was.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander,
Yep.
who I think
That was a big upset.
one of the top MVP players, and he's tremendous at Canada. And they had other Victor Wembanyama, who's the Rookie of the Year in the NBA. Really is going to be a tremendous player moving forward. But to your point, Al, with the guys aging, LeBron James in 4 years not going to be there. Okay, Curry's not going to be there. Durant's not going to be there. I was a little surprised that Jason Tatum didn't get a lot. I mean, the guy was an all-NBA player on an NBA championship team, but evidently he missed. He didn't even play in 2 games. Derek White did not play in the gold medal game. They cut Ant's minutes down. Anthony Edwards, who I love Anthony Edwards' game.
Great defense, great defensive player, man.
Tremendous defensive player.
He was all over those guys.
But were you surprised that they sat Tatum a little bit and they really didn't give him a lot of run? They didn't give him a long leash at all, Kerr?
Well,
I was. I don't know, Ben. I mean, I'll let you answer, Ben. I'll come back.
Well, they said Kerr had he sat Embiid for certain styles of other teams that he knew how they were going to play. Like Al said, with the knocking everybody around. That's when he wanted Embiid in there when they were going to be pounding each other. But he did what he had to do. What are you going to do? They won.
I think what people don't understand, and I could be wrong, but this is what I was told, that Nike actually selected the players because Brown, who was the MVP in the national championship game, in the NBA championship game, he should have been on that team.
Right, he didn't make the team. They took White. They took White. They took a guy from his own team, and he was the MVP of the playoffs.
MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals and the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Right. And so Kerr, I guess knowing how other teams play, wanted to make sure he had the right chemistry out there with those guys. But you got to have guys who can play them, and you need those young legs. And I just think that it was close. But and like Bennett said, I mean, we're still able to be victorious, and it was a great series for us.
But how about the women guys? Talk about an incredible game, and they were absolutely laying waste to they were smoking countries, right? And what happens? Boy, I'll tell you, France gave them a heck of a game, and that girl hits the 3-pointer, her foot's on the line. It would have gone to OT if that counts. Right. That's OT, and hey, anything happens in overtime.
And the same thing with the girls. Yeah, they had some Taurasi. She's 42 years old. She was on the sideline. Yeah. Yes, she's been around a while, and the big tall girl who was in prison at Russia, she was on the sideline. She moves a little slower now. Yeah, Brittany Griner, and but we got some young girls coming up in that WNBA. I think that the next time around they're going to represent very well. But our girls, just like you said, they were blowing everybody's doors off and end up in a dogfight with France, man, and France wouldn't go away. Nobody was starstruck. The girls weren't starstruck, just like the guys. It was a great basketball series for both men and women.
Well, you guys are going to get a kick out of this. This is a trivia question.
I know. I saw a
trivia question. I know the answer to this. You know who it is?
We figured you would know the answer.
Yeah, because he's not a person. Forrest Gump. I know what he's doing. Forrest Gump. It's not a real person. He didn't go to China because in '72 we didn't go to China. Nixon went to China. Forrest Gump played table tennis. I got it right, though, guys. I got that one right.
Nothing gets by you, Les.
Nothing gets by me, right? So, are we going to see Caitlin Clark in 4 years?
I think so.
Oh, sure.
I believe so. Yeah. I believe so. Just like anything else, you got to earn the right to be on the Olympic team, and that's not shortchanging her talent skills. I think that there were other girls who waited their turn, and but I was surprised that. The coach from South Carolina didn't coach those girls. I wasn't quite sure who selected the coaches for the ladies Olympic team as well. I mean, but we got some girls that I think that are going to represent, that are younger, who can run, who can shoot, and play some good basketball. Well, overall, we should be in good shape there for a while.
Yeah, I think so. I think the women's game's in great shape, and I think the men, they'll end up having their. In the next 4 years, you're going to have guys coming out of college that are going to have 1 and 2 years under their NBA belt, and they're going to be superstars coming up. Devin Booker's a young kid. Halliburton's pretty good. There were 2 or 3 guys that, like you said, Jaylen Brown could have been on this team. I think the Team USA is in good shape, but let's just make no mistake about it. This is not the dream team. This is Team USA. There's only one Michael. There's only one Magic. There's only one Larry. I'm sorry. It ain't happening. Just not going to happen. Charles.
That's
Clyde.
it. That's all, Coach. You call it, hey, pass the offering plate. That's it. That's all.
That's it. Well, guys, I think I think the Olympics were a smashing success. Thankfully it went off without a hitch. There were no crazy things going on down there. Everyone was nervous about potential terrorism attacks and things like that. I know at the beginning there was a little hiccup there in the train station, but for the most part, it went off great. I thought they did a great job producing it. It's always difficult when you're in the United States, in the time differences. You kind of, you want to see these things live, and you kind of get the results before they're on.
You had to get up early.
You have to get up at 2 in the morning to start watching some of this stuff. Oh, and how about this?
What about the river? The river. The water was contaminated.
It was contaminated.
The guys were swimming and getting sick.
Sounds like the water down here, Benny. But Al, how about this one? Benny and I, big golfers. How about Scotty Scheffler taking home the gold for Team USA? How about that?
How about that? Yeah. He was hitting them good.
Oh my God, this guy's unbelievable.
Nelly fell apart. Nelly was right there. Several times she made comebacks, but Lydia Ko did it.
And a special shout out. We just got something, and I almost forgot to say this. So we got, how about the U.S. men's gymnastics team, which won a bronze medal? Unbelievable. And Frederick Richard from my hometown, Stoughton, Massachusetts, doing the Black Knights proud on the gymnastic team. So listen, we're watching this thing, guys, and all of a sudden it says Frederick Richard, Stoughton, Mass. I said, wait a second. What? I get on the phone with my nephews. Do you know this guy?
Do you ever watch those guys and realize how strong they are?
Incredible.
To be able to do what they do. I mean, look like Simone. Simone, she hurt her ankle, and they had a close-up of her calf. It looked like a football player's calf, man. And she's just a little bitty something, but they have to be strong. Their bodies, you're talking about their core strong. I mean, Al, from inside out. Huh?
When those athletes get on those rings and do the cross or whatever they call it, the iron cross, and they're holding their bodies out. Unbelievable.
Yes, guys, they are pound for pound, the strongest athletes in the world. Pound for pound.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hold your own. I can't hold my own body. I can't get out of bed. And these people are holding up their body with one hand on a pommel horse. I'm like, are you kidding me?
And what about the vault?
Oh,
sometimes you can't. You don't even know how many times they're spinning around. The guys that are experts go, was that 3.5? Maybe it looked like 3.5.
And Simone Biles, obviously, listen, so much has been said. She's incredible. Greatest gymnast, most decorated gymnast in USA history. Incredible. And I think in the world, I think she's the most decorated gymnast in the history of the Olympics now.
She is.
I would say she now vaults. You like that, Benny? She vaults ahead of Nadia Comaneci, maybe, is the best all-time gymnast.
Where do you get these pictures from?
You like that?
Doc Trotter right there.
No. What do you think about breakdancing in the Olympics? Well, Al,
I tell you
Al, hold on. Now, let me just say something. Sorry. If the videos from the 1980s, when I used to listen to Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and I used to listen to Curtis Blow and Houdini, the breakdancing, they would have won gold medals. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Unbelievable, man. I tell you what, it was almost hilarious to me that breakdancing is an event.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, you also got the skateboard, and I think they got the bike deal.
Yeah.
They got all kind of.
There was a couple other things that I said, what are they doing? What is this?
Well, guys, I got to tell you, one sport that really blew me away when I was watching it, and I said, I wish they had this when I was 21 years old. Team handball. Man, that thing was awesome. A combination of rugby, basketball. I mean, I would have loved to play that back when I was 21. I'm going to tell you, I think pickleball. I know we always talk about it. Pickleball is going to be the next sport in the Olympics. If breakdancing is in, pickleball's got to be in.
The U.S. women rugby team. Did you see that play?
What a fantastic play.
You went the whole play. It was 40 seconds is like nothing in a rugby. I mean, because they run around and 2 minutes go by. And that girl, she took up the whole 40 seconds.
Well, Barry said something interesting. They're trying to get young people to watch breakdancing.
Yeah. I have an appreciation now for synchronized diving and synchronized swimming because I'm a swimmer, and you realize how difficult it is just to stay afloat, let alone having people on top of your arms, your legs, and you gotta stay afloat. And then even the synchronized diving, I mean, it's beautiful to watch. But that breakdancing, man. I don't know what's worse than breakdancing, man.
I don't understand it, and I hope they get rid of it because I just think it's insane. It doesn't make any
But
sense.
there were a lot of gold medals won, a lot of big time athletes, but the person who made the Olympics and made big time money was Snoop Dogg.
Oh, I was going to say he was on everything. He was everywhere.
Snoop Dogg was everywhere, man.
He was.
And it looks like he's going to do the same thing in 28
LA.
in LA.
Yep, in LA.
He's back in his hometown. He's back in his crib. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He's going to know everybody there. But no, he was great. He was funny. At first, I was like, really? And then he had some really good stuff. Him in the pool with Michael Phelps was hysterical. He did some great stuff. So yeah, he did make it. He came away the darling. You know, if Levrone won it as the athlete, I think the most memorable person of the Olympics is probably Snoop Dogg. But so, guys, we wrap this up again. We're kind of disappointed. You know, Ray couldn't make it with us tonight, and like I said, we hope everything's okay with him. We'll reach out to Ray, and we really wanted to talk about his book because, you know, he's going to be coming out with that in the fall. He's got some great stories. I wanted him to tease a little bit of those stories. We're going to have him on again and just talk about the book because I think it's going to be a great read. And he's going to send us a copy and things like that. So we'll put it up where people can watch it. But talk about a guy that really got a raw deal in the Olympics. And a lot of people don't know that story. They really don't know the story of Rey Robinson. And I think that book's going to be a great, great read. But we still want to take some comments, and people have questions out there. Please, viewers, hit us up with some questions. We're going to go to a commercial break right now. We're going to come back. We're going to talk a little college football, which is right around the corner. We're going to do that with Alan, the book, after this.
Forever 24 Fit, Leland's only gym with 24-hour access. Get fit when it's convenient, utilizing Life Fitness, cardio, and weight machines. And for those of you who prefer free weights, there is a free weight area as well. Start your membership today and get on your way to a better you. Six Happiness. Enjoy fresh Asian cuisine in a relaxed and friendly atmosphere where we believe good times deserve great food. Featuring the best sushi chefs in the Leland area. So come on in and we guarantee you will be delighted.
Welcome back to Swartz Talkin' Sports. I'm your host, Les Swartz. The man in the middle, Al the Rattler Chester, Florida A&M great quarterback and voice of the Rattlers on the football and basketball radio broadcast. And the guy to my right, he's back, ladies and gentlemen. Benny, the Book Stimilli.
Book.
2 weeks, baby. 2 weeks. We started off.
79. Ben, hold on. We got a shout out to Benny. 79. Guy plays 37 holes today. I'd be in a coma, but he does it. Shoots a 79. And I'm the one biking around the neighborhood 10 miles a day, and he's the one who's looking good.
And I'm the old man.
He's the old man. Well, guys, it all starts in a couple weeks. I know, Al, you've got a big one coming up, I think, on the 24th.
Yeah, a week from Saturday, we the Florida A&M Rattlers, defending national champs, will play Norfolk State in the SWAC-MEAC game in Atlanta, Georgia. Should be going to be live on ABC, playing at Georgia State Stadium, seats about 30,000. And we're looking forward to getting off to a great season. This is week 0 for the Rattlers. Got a chance to go up and watch them doing camp, and very impressed with what I see. I think this team is just as good on paper as the national championship team was last year. Hopefully that'll translate to some wins, and let's see how they come together as players and coaches and make it all happen.
Now, for Florida A&M, a couple of big differences. Number one, they lose their successful head coach, Willie Simmons. He goes to Duke. He's coaching running backs and probably doing some other offensive things for the new coach there, Manny Diaz. And they lose Jeremy Musa, the quarterback. They lose him, so they bring in a new quarterback. Do they have another Al Chester Sr.?
Well, I tell you what, they got two guys who are competing right now. D. Rich, who's a transfer kid. Richardson is his last name. His first name escapes him. We call him D. Rich. And then, of course, Junior Maritovich, who's been on the ball club for the last 3 years. He played a little bit as a freshman. He set out his sophomore year, and he was on the team as a backup to Musa last year. But, you know, when you lose a 2-year start at quarterback, and obviously you lose your head coach who's been there 5-6 years, he set the foundation. The culture is there.
Yeah.
We pick up a new head football coach in James Cozy III, who was on the staff anyway. The kids wanted him. I mean, so it's not a matter of rebuilding. It's just let's reload this thing and run it back. And we lost a lot of players. And just like all the other schools, we've taken advantage of the portal. We got some new kids in, got some big linemen, some of the biggest kids I've seen. Top end speed, I think we improved at wide receiver. Now we got to see, and I heard that Cozy was going to announce on this Sunday, who the starting quarterback is going to be. But I tell you what, both guys have been competing. That's why he hadn't been able to make a decision just yet, because they've been competing so well. Musa, Junior is got a live arm. D. Rich is more accomplished because he's played other places. He's thrown for 4,000 or 5,000 yards in college already against some top competition. So he reminds me a lot of old Condridge Holloway, if you will. And Junior has a live arm, man. He's a gunslinger, and he can make some throws, man. He's got a big time throw. So I'm excited to see who he's going to name, and then how we gel together as a football team against Norfolk State. The last time we went to Atlanta, we won the national championship. So we're going to see what's going to happen on next Saturday, a week from Saturday, 24th.
We'll be checking that out. Trust me, we'll be on the golf course, but after that, Benny, we'll be in the clubhouse checking that game out on ABC.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we got some big ones though to open up the week. It starts in a couple weeks, and we got some massive games this year. Of course, we have a 12-team playoff. We've all wanted it. It's expanded to 12 teams. Conference realignment, at least for the time being, is done. Some crazy things going on there, but we're going to highlight 5 games. There'll be more, but let's just, and we're not going to, Benny, you're not going to give me picks right now, but we're just going to tease a little bit about the top 5 games, what we think might happen, who these teams might finish up. You got the big one right off the bat. You got the number 1 team in the country. They just announced the top 25 on Monday. You got the Georgia Bulldogs, consensus number 1, playing Clemson, tops in the ACC, ranked number 14.
Ranked number 14. Looking to get out of the ACC.
They are. Them and Florida State, Miami.
Dabo wants to put a big show on. He wants to say, "You guys, come on, you want us. We want to get in there." So,
do you think they got a shot at beating the Bulldogs?
Yeah, of course. I love Dabo as a coach. He's had a lot of talented players. You never know. You don't know.
Well, if you're going to get him, Al, if you're going to get someone like that, you better get him early, right?
That's exactly right. I mean, if you want to beat Georgia, you better jump on them early. I tell you what, they probably got one of the most talented teams in the country. They got so much depth, but they got a returning quarterback who's playing with a lot of confidence. He's probably going to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks picked in the NFL draft. He's my homeboy. He's actually from Jacksonville. He went to Mandarin High School, and I tell you what, I watched his maturation at Georgia. I tell you what, when I saw him in high school, his junior year, they won the state championship. He lost a lot of players. He struggled a little bit his senior year. You saw the potential there. But I tell you what, he went to Georgia, waited his turn, and I tell you what, he lit it up last year, and I expect to see more of him this year.
Yeah, I would say he was probably they didn't expect. I mean, I guess they did expect. That's why they put him in there. But he really played well all year long. He was a shining star there.
Well, he could be the number 1 pick in the draft coming up next year. You got Mikael Williams, Malachi Starks on the backside. They also got a transfer. They got Travis Etienne, the best running back that Florida had last year. He jumped ship. He goes to the Bulldogs. And Clemson's got Kubnik. They got some other players out there, but I don't know. Georgia's looking pretty good. I like Georgia in this one early. We'll see what happens. Then we got Benny's. We always got to talk West Virginia on the show, Al. Benny's a big Morgantown guy. They host number 8 Penn State. They got throttled last year, I think 35-18. Do they have any chance of knocking off Penn State, or at least, what are they, 10.5-point underdogs? Do you think they're going to take that?
Underdogs. I don't know. A lot depends on the quarterback there. They expected a lot out of that kid last year. He didn't perform as well as they like, but they lost a couple of big defensive players, I think. You never know.
Well,
Home team underdogs, man. Home team underdogs in college football. Gotta like them.
But I got to tell you, though, James Franklin, they win 9-10 games every year, but they can't get by the Michigans and Ohio States. I think he's like 1-6 against them. So he beats everybody else in the Big Ten. But when the big game's there and he's got to knock down the door, it doesn't work. He just can't get that signature win against Ohio State or Michigan. I don't see it changing this year. I thought the quarterback. I didn't see him develop last year. He was supposed to be a really good quarterback.
Right. He was supposed to be really good.
I think his name is
Allard.
Allard,
right?
yeah. It was supposed Drew Allard, right? He was supposed to be really, really good and a top-notch player. I just didn't see the maturation of him. Al, I'm not a quarterback. I'm not a quarterback coach, but he didn't improve game to game, and he did not play well in the big games.
Right. Well, I tell you what, I'm with Benny. I think that if you're going to get Penn State, or what West Virginia needs to do, is get off to a good start. They got to have great quarterback play. This kid now has got a season up on his belt. Hopefully he can come around and do the kind of things that Coach Neil Brown thinks he can do. But James Franklin, they play good, tight defense, and that's going to be one of those games that's going to be a nice showcase game. But Brown is expecting his quarterback. You know, in college football, you got to have great quarterback play. You can't get around that. I mean, the way the game is situated now, you got to have good quarterback play. So it's going to be, if the West Virginia quarterback can do what he needs to do, he's got a little season up on this belt now. Can you now be in the bright lights and make it happen?
Yeah, he performed very well.
Is Garrett Green the quarterback at West Virginia? Is that his name, Garrett Green?
Yeah, Green.
Okay,
No, I think his last name is Green, but I don't think it's Garrett.
Yeah, I thought so, but you never know.
Yeah, he really improved last year.
Did you throw up a comment up there, Tony? Was there some goofy comment about something? I saw it out of the corner of my eye. Can you guys see this comment here? Yeah,
one of the best men's hockey league player, the Jewish Jet, Les Swartz. He's getting his Al. There's a rumor that he's getting his skates back on, and we're gonna have to go watch him perform on the rink.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Hey, let's make sure you warm up and stretch good before you put those skates on.
You kidding me? It's been 12 years since I can't even bend over to tie the skates. Never mind. Well, so you got Penn State, West Virginia. Now you got a team that, guys, I think is going to surprise a lot of people. They're ranked 19th, Miami, Florida. They got a stud quarterback. They finally got a guy that I think they're going to plug in, and he's going to be very successful. Cam Ward, who came over from, I believe it was Incarnate Word. He went to Washington State. Was lighting it up last year, and their team kind of fell apart at the end. But he played great. He goes to Miami. Miami's quarterback goes to Wisconsin.
He's like a one-man show, that kid.
He is, and he's going to be surrounded by a lot more talent at Miami. They've restocked that team. I think Mario Cristobal. Al, I think Miami's going to shock a lot of people this year.
Well, I tell you, the quarterback is a magician, just like you guys talked about. He can run the football, he can throw the football, and he provides super leadership. And I think that's what they've been missing at that position. They've had some skilled guys back there who could throw the football, but in terms of super leadership and the guys believe in him, he can extend the play, everything that you want out of a quarterback like that. Watch that guy, man. Florida, too, has a young quarterback. He's Lagney, I think is his name. He's a freshman. He's playing behind the kid who played last year, but everybody I've talked to said, watch this kid. He's got Heisman Trophy written over him in the coming years. But if the other kid falls short just a little bit, and Billy Napier is on the hot seat, man, he's going to have to win some football games down at Gainesville. He's going to be packing and be on your talk show here next year.
Hey, listen, Al. Nobody does the analyst like you. That's why you're there, and that's why you do an amazing job on those broadcasts. And you broke that one down really great. Napier is in the hot seat. It's like, psst, woo, he's hot. Yeah. And Graham Mertz, the quarterback you're talking about, who transferred in from Wisconsin, guess what?
Right.
This kid you're talking about, he might be playing before the end of this game because I don't believe in Graham Mertz. He hasn't got it done in Wisconsin. He didn't get it done last year. No. I'm sorry. And you're right. Florida is dying if Napier doesn't do it, and that was a controversial hire. I mean, he did great at Louisiana Lafayette. He was great there, put up great offenses, but maybe people wanted a bigger name with more experience at the FBS level. They didn't get it, and I think this is his last go around. If he does not straighten out the ship at Florida, they win at least 8 games. Gatorland's sending him packing. I know that. Then we got Benny's.
Their first 6 games
brutal,
are tough,
brutal.
Oh man, it's gone. I mean, you talking about taking them out to the woodshed, and man, I tell you what, they're gonna need everything, and some help. They're gonna need everything to fall their way. They got to stay healthy if they want to stay. If they can come out the first 6 games 4-6. I'm sorry, 4-2, 3-3. They may be able to finish up decent, but they're going to struggle. He's going to have to win 8-9 games this year easy.
Yeah, I was
going to
say,
alive.
if they get out of the shoot 1-3 or 2-4, guess what? With that
Nah,
schedule in the SEC, now you're adding Texas, you're adding Oklahoma. It's going to be brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can say is that in the SEC used to be broken down by East-West. Now it's the top 18 teams. You could conceivably say we'll get to two more games. We got the Notre Dame A&M and the LSU USC games. But guys, we could conceivably see Michigan play Ohio State 3 times. You could see Alabama play Auburn 3 times.
3 times.
Because if they finish 1-2 in the league, they play their traditional rivalry game at the end of the year, the Iron Bowl and the rivalry between Michigan and Ohio State. Then they play in the championship game, and then they go to the playoffs and meet again. So you literally could see him play, which is unprecedented, 3 times. And we're going to have Bob Harris on. Bob's a fan favorite out of Auburn. I'm going to ask him, what's more important, the Iron Bowl or playing Alabama in a national championship game? What would be bigger in the state of Alabama? I can't think of anything bigger than having to play your rival in the national championship game. That would be, every household in Alabama would be watching that thing.
But what would that do for the SEC? You got 2 schools playing for the national championship from the SEC. I mean, the way everything is aligned now, I mean, what you got, the Power 4.
Yeah.
I mean, and you got 12 teams who can potentially go into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be interesting to see how it dices up. And teams who didn't make that 4 or the 6, if you will, now will have an opportunity to get in there and showcase their skills.
You watch Missouri, man.
Missouri's their dark horse. Now, nine out of the top 25 teams this year are SEC teams. So, but I think, as you're going to see every year, there are teams that are ranked high that for whatever reason don't finish like that, and there are teams that are dark horses that no one's talking about.
They got 6. SEC's got 6 out of the top 12 teams and they're all going to play each other, so they all got to lose.
Right? No,
that's
somebody's
right.
got to lose.
Yeah.
But at least with the expanded 12 teams, if you lose a close game, it doesn't kill you. Where if you lost a game in week 5 and it was a field goal game, you're out of the national championship picture.
Right.
Now you're getting rewarded for playing a really good team and a very good non-conference schedule early. Speaking of that, you got number 7 Notre Dame traveling to Aggie land, baby, playing the A&M Aggies. Now, here's an interesting little tidbit here. The new coach at Texas A&M, Ekholm, was the head coach at Duke last year. Who was his quarterback? Riley Leonard. Where did he transfer to? Notre Dame. You're going to tell me this guy does not shut down Leonard? I'm telling you, Benny, people are on the Fighting Irish, but I could see A&M pulling an upset early here.
A&M's the favorite in the game so far. They're laying a point.
I mean,
Notre Dame has a new quarterback, lost their best offensive lineman,
best running
back. They lost. They got a lot to replace. They got a couple. I think the defense. One of the defensive players lost. They're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. Is Marcus Freeman on the hot seat, Al? Is he on the hot seat?
No.
You know what? I think that Marcus has done a great job the last year or 2, but he's got to get off to a good start. And I think that Notre Dame and Texas A&M both are 2 teams that were like 1B, if you will, in terms of the way they finished the season. But Marcus has a lot of pressure on him. Notre Dame, the folks in Notre Dame the expectation is very high.
Right.
And although he's embraced it and has done a good job, but ask me that after week 4, and let's see where he is.
All right, we'll check that one. Now, the last game we got here, and this is a biggie. I'm circling this one. This is my LSU Tigers, preseason number 13. They lose the Heisman Trophy winner. They lose both receivers to go in the first round. They are just decimated. Now, they have a great offensive line. They might have the best offensive line in college football. Will Campbell's going to be a first-rounder next year, no doubt in my mind. Defensively, they should be good. They stole Mizzou's defensive coordinator, who had them as a top 12 defense last year, so hopefully he installs some kind of a system. And they bring Harold Perkins outside and let him do what he should be doing, because that kid's a stud. And they're playing in Las Vegas against – I know Stu's out there. Stu Detlefson's out there, big Trojan guy. They're playing the number 23 ranked Trojans, who I'm not expecting much from USC this
Nope.
year. I think a hot seat. I think Lincoln Riley's on the hot seat. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
people are not happy in Trojan
got-
land with him, and I think LSU mops the floor with these
He
guys.
had
What
his
do you guys
Williams.
think?
He got Williams to go with him. Kid put up astronomical numbers, but their defense was horrible. I mean, you can't win if I don't care how great your offense is. If your defense doesn't stop anybody, you're never winning. You're never going to win. Got to
Defense win championships.
That's right.
Defense win
Absolutely.
championships. Offense sell
Absolutely,
tickets.
Al.
What's
Yeah.
more important?
And it also
Hold on, Al. What's more important, winning championships or selling tickets?
winning championships, baby.
That's right. You
Because
got
if
it.
you win championships, people are going to come see you play.
'Cause this-
But I mean, what you said about LSU, it all starts up front. When you got big people up front pushing people around on both sides of the ball, that's where it all starts. Both of these teams lost their quarterbacks, and they lost some skilled people. But I think that Brian Kelly versus Lincoln Riley, it's going to be a dogfight. But I like you, Les. I think LSU is going to have a easier time with Southern Cal than folks realize. They're gonna represent themselves well. I just think that Lincoln Riley, I'm not sure what he has out there that's going to be competitive enough for LSU.
Yeah.
I think LSU and Brian Kelly, they're going to be rolling. They're going to be rolling.
I'm hoping Stu hits it up. Talk is cheap. Let's see what happens on the field. I agree. They haven't taken a snap yet, but listen, I thought LSU was going to roll over UCLA last year, and they just laid an egg, in Los Angeles. So, and I'm going to say right now, it's not a dark horse pick, guys, but I'm going to tell you who's going to be my early pick to win the national championship. My early pick here, I really like the Oregon Ducks. I think that team is loaded. I love their coach Lanning. I know last year they lost 2 games, both to Washington, very close games. He made a couple of questionable decisions near the end of the game management, but they get Dylan Gabriel, transfers over from Oklahoma to run that show. They also got Moore, the kid,
And he was at UCF. Dylan played at UCF.
He went to UCF to Oklahoma to Oregon.
Well, I don't know why he left UCF to go to Oklahoma, and now he played 2 years great, and now he leaves again.
Because he could be quarterbacking a national championship team. They also got that kid Moore, who was the number 1 recruit. Also went to UCLA and transferred out when Chip Kelly left. And how about did you guys see Deshaun Watson's press conference at UCLA?
Oh. Deshaun Watson.
I did.
Oh, Al, what happened? It was.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you guys, anybody out there, any of our viewers out there that are still with us, check out Deshaun Moore's press conference at UCLA in the Big Ten. It was the worst. He looked unprepared. He looked scared. He didn't even know how to answer. He was like a deer in the headlight. He didn't know what to do. And I'm sitting there going, and this guy is your head coach at UCLA? I have a funny feeling it's Carl Durrell all over. He'll be gone in 2 years. You just can't put a alum in there and think he's going to coach when he's never done it before. That's just, it's a big job. It's a big job.
The only thing I'm worried about with Oregon is the traveling. These are college kids. And I said it about West Virginia when they went to the Big 12. I said, they got to travel all of these distances to play week after week. I said, it's not like, when they played in the Big East, they were all right there. They didn't have to go traveling all over the place. They were right in home. And
to your point, Benny, that is actually an excellent point to make because one, you got teams on the West Coast that now have to travel on to the East Coast, may have to come 2 weeks in a row. And the time difference, what it does to your body. I mean, you got to get acclimated and that's for football. Now, what about these other sports? Huh?
That used to be one of the angles that someone taught me about in pro football. When the California teams went to the East Coast, always take the East Coast teams. They just couldn't, they were lackadaisical, or I don't, like with the time difference. It was it proved out for a long time. A lot of the Eastern teams beat the California teams when they travel all across the country.
Benny, I'll throw a wrench into that one. I'll take Los Alamitos High School against the New England Patriots this year. And they can travel going the back way through Tokyo and get there and they'll still beat the Patriots.
What a poor fan. What a poor fan.
I'm a Charger fan. I got Jim Harbaugh, baby. Yeah. Come on. Go Lightning Bolts.
While we're talking, there is one other college game that it's going to be my upset special, I think, of the first week. You mentioned it to me.
Okay.
And then I looked. Michigan is laying 21 points to Fresno State the first week. And the following week, they have Texas coming to the big house.
Ooh,
So they won't
be
they
looking
really
ahead,
they won't be thinking about Fresno State. And new coach, lost all their players. They got a little controversy there now. You know,
Yeah.
Harbaugh doesn't want to answer any questions. I'm a Charger man now. I didn't do anything. We did everything right.
Oh yeah, he did everything right. Listen,
watch Fresno State the first week, August 31st.
And they lost their head coach though. I think Jeff Tedford retired, and they lost their. I think Haener was their quarterback to transfer out of Washington. I think he's finally out of eligibility. I think he's been there for 12 years. So he finally is out of eligibility. I think the COVID year is gone. Thank God these guys aren't going to be playing till the 26th. But guys, we got to wrap it up. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got Dr. Albert Chester said predictions for Colorado Buffaloes this year. Al, is this your amazing son?
That's him right there, man. That's Deuce.
Al, I got to tell you, he's a chip off the old block, but he got you beat, man. He's a good-looking boy. I'd say. I think he got you beat, brother.
He takes after his mother.
Yeah, he takes after his mom. All right, predictions for the Colorado Buffaloes. My prediction for I'm going to throw mine out first. First of all, I didn't like Deion Sanders' press conference the other day when he said, bolster, chemistry. I'm like, Deion, you're picking on these guys. Come on. We all know what bolster means. It means they're trying to get the line better. Come on. You can't have your quarterback get killed. I think that they'll score a lot of points. I don't think defensively they're going to be nearly as good, even though they got Hunter. I see them maybe winning 6-7 games, but I don't see them winning a Big 12 championship. That's just my take on it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, Shedeur is getting a lot of ink. He's being pushed for being the top quarterback in the country. Deion has reached out in the portal to improve that offensive line, which is, I think he was one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league in the country last year.
He was.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see the chemistry. With Deion, it's always suspect. But I like that 6, 7, 8 game range for them, and that would actually be a good improvement for him. But it'll be interesting to see. But they got to travel as well. Their schedule didn't get any easier, but they got to have great play out of Shedeur.
They're going to an offensive conference. That's for sure. I've watched the Big 12, and everybody lights it up. Everybody. Yeah. They just love the offense.
All right, guys. Well, listen, we are running. Tony just gave me the signal up here. We're almost at the hour mark here. Again, I want to apologize to everyone out there. I know we had really promoted Ray, and again, we hope everything's okay with Ray. It's not like him, but we'll get him back. We'll have him talking about the book, and we'll tease a little better next week. We got a real special, guys. We had a great one next week. We just don't have a legend. We have a pioneer in the world of pro football. We've got Doug Williams. This is going to be our second Super Bowl winning quarterback coming on the show. Doug, first black quarterback to ever be drafted in the first round by Tampa Bay in 1978 out of Grambling. Then he does first black quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl with the Washington Redskins near the end of his career. So I think, Al, you know him well. Benny and I will get a chance to talk with him, and we're really looking forward to hearing some great stories and more about what's Doug doing now. He had a great career. What's he up to now? What's Doug doing?
He's actually an executive with the Washington Redskins. They're not the Redskins anymore. The Commanders.
Commanders.
But we'll talk to him he's been with them he's been with them a long time, and he got a promotion recently. But I tell you what, Doug has actually been embracing the whole Washington community, and obviously he goes back to Louisiana, where Grambling is, in his hometown, and does a lot of charity work. But I'm anxious to hear him talk about what he's doing now and what he thinks about his new quarterback up there, and what he thinks about the portal, what he thinks about NIL. Hearing it from a legend like Doug Williams would be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So that's next Wednesday, the 21st at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So tune in for that. Guys, listen, we got to wrap it up. I'm going to be back with the wrap, but I'm going to say goodbye and goodnight to Al the Rattler Chester in the middle, the man in the middle, and Benny the Book back again.
Great to be back, guys. Good to see you guys.
Hey,
good seeing you too, Benny.
We got the season started, guys.
We'll have some picks for everybody next week. We're going to have some good ones.
All right, well, guys, listen.
Hopefully we're as good as last year.
Y'all, listen, it's been great seeing everybody and actually being able to have a conversation for the first time ever. But wishing you guys the best this week. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk during the week, Al. We'll catch up, and we got Doug Williams on the 21st. Right, so you guys have a great night. We'll be back with the wrap after this.
Good night.
Jim's Pawn and Guns Shop, located at 4212 Oleander Drive, Wilmington's #1 firearms dealer. sporting a large inventory, including all brands of handguns and long guns, a full stock of accessories, and all types of ammunition. Jim's Pawn and Gun Shop has it all, including the best customer service in the area.
Before the lights go out, call Wilmington Generators. We offer the lowest price and a 10-year warranty for all Briggs & Stratton installations. A Briggs & Stratton powers more of your home for less money. Call for a free quote. Wilmington Generators. We play with power.
Hi, I'm Les Swartz, and this is Swartz Talkin Sports. Welcome back to The Wrap. Want to thank Al and Benny for jumping on tonight, talking a little Olympics. Again, we apologize. We had promoted the show. Rey Robinson was going to be on. Evidently, there was some kind of an issue with Rey. Couldn't make it tonight. But we got a little Olympic action. Tony the Tiger Smeraldi, my crack producer, coming up with the I can actually see what's going on, the teleprompter. I can see my guests and my co-host, and I can actually have a great conversation. So we really want to thank Tony for really sprucing up the show a little bit there and getting us our great visuals tonight from the Olympics. And we had a little college football talk in. We'll be doing more. Again, next Wednesday, the 21st, Doug Williams, 8 p.m., legendary pioneer Super Bowl quarterback with the Washington Redskins. So that'll be next Wednesday at 8 p.m. By the way, if you haven't, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment. We'd love to hear your comments on the show. We'd like to hear who you like in college football and maybe any questions you want us to ask Doug Williams. If you can't make it next week, we'll do it for you. So, for Al, the Rattler Chester, Benny the Book Stamili, Joni, who's not here right now, my producer Tony, and everyone here at Swartz Talkin Sports, I'm Les Swartz. See you next week. Doug Williams, 8 p.m.